are you sometimes surprised, like, what the fuck is happening to me? I'm turning into this guy and I'm leading these people, or does it feel supernatural?
You
Because I
know
know
what?
you're an introverted guy, so this doesn't come natural for
It
you.
doesn't come natural. Matter of fact, I hate this interview right now. Not because of you. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because for several years growing up, I stuttered. So I'm nervous around people. I still battle these demons every day. They're still there, man. I'm still that guy that lived in a $7 a month place. Just because I'm not living there anymore, I'm scarred. Scars remind you that your past is real. It's real, man. You can't run away from it. It's a part of me. I carry that shit wherever I go. It doesn't define who I am, but it's a scar. All these things scarred me. But that's why people connect with me. We all have mental scars, physical scars. Our scars remind us that the past is so very fucking real. So I'm a teacher saying that it's okay, man. The scars are real, but you can still be a bad motherfucker. You can still be a very, very dangerous motherfucker.
What was the hardest part about going back down into the past and into those sewers and revisiting these old memories and trying to make sense of them and trying to remember what really happened as opposed to the version that happened? I mean, the abuse with your dad seemed pretty real.
Oh, it was real shit.
I would say it was pretty real shit. Was that the hardest part, or did it trigger stuff into you physically and mentally where you were like, whoa,
You know what you realize? You realize how much you try to block it out. You realize how much of your life you just shove under a rug and you just live on top of that rug until you pull that rug out and you fall into this fucking pile of shit. And then when you're in this pile of shit that we literally carry around with us all day long, but we just put it way back here, but we're carrying this big fucking rucksack, this big backpack of shit every day, but we think we're not.
right?
We think we're not. We think, oh, we're good. I'm good. So when I had to go back in that shit, what was hard about it was trying to find power. Trying to find power in filth. Trying to take all this negative shit and say, all right, how the fuck am I going to use all this shit to propel me forward? That's the hardest part about it, because all you want to do is lay in it and just say, God, man, like, just let me die in this shit. So as you're going back to it, it almost makes you say, how the fuck did I get here? So I went back to it, and I went back to it way before this book, because you have to go back to it before you go forward. We all want to start now. I'm 44. I'm not going to go backwards. I want to go forwards. So that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
So you had been processing this for the last 10 years.
Years.
Yeah.
You can't speak about the way I do unless you process it. You go back 1,000,000 times. You battle it. You overcome it. Even though it's gone, you got to go back in your mind and face it and overcome it. With my father, when I was 22, I believe I was, 22, 23, I had to go back and face him. Actually face him one-on-one. And that's really when I realized I had to go back to like if your knee hurts. A lot of people focus on your knee. It may be if it's your left knee, it might be your right hip. We never focus on the hip, focus on the knee. So for me, I was focusing on all this surface shit. So when I went to the Air Force, I quit in training because I learned how to read, I learned how to write, I learned how to swim. But the second something hard came up, I went right back to where I always go. And I'm like, God, man, I thought I fixed all this shit. No, my left knee was hurting. And I worked on my left knee. It stopped hurting. But my fucking right hip was the fucking problem. So my right hip was my dad.
Right.
The crux of my problems wasn't anything to do with everything in life. It was to do with my father. Because that's where it started. It started there. The origin of the story, it started there. So I went back to the start point and I had to face where all this happened, where the mindset started. The mindset of, all this shit, being beat for no reason and feeling like you're nothing and feeling like you got to lie to gain friends and You know, my mind was developed, but it wasn't developing properly in that hell. You can't develop a mind in the hell I lived in. So what happened was people blamed me back in the day. My God, you lied about this and you did that. Let me put your fucking ass in that shit. Go. Be born in that shit, man. Let me see how you come out. Let me see how secure in your foundation you are when you get beat for just fucking doing nothing because he's drunk and he's mad at you. So you learn to survive, but surviving doesn't make you win. Surviving makes you a fucking cockroach. It makes you just do that, survive. It makes you lie. How can I get through this?
Right.
How can I get around this? Versus being a man is standing up for what you believe in. You're a coward, so you lie and you manipulate. But that's what those foundations, a lot of people are beat mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So it makes you a coward. But then people blame you for how you act when you're 30 fucking years old. They don't know where you come from. They don't know the hell you had to endure, why your mind is the way it is now. So you have to go back and fix that shit. You got to go back to where the shit came from. You're not going to fix it now. You got to go back and fix it. So when I went back there, I realized this fucking guy, I had to look at my dad and forgive him without saying sorry. No one said sorry. I had to go back and say, why were you so fucking nuts? And realize, oh, you never went back.
Right.
You never fucking went back. And whatever fucked you up while you beat the shit out of my mom, me and my brother, you never went back. So you took all that shit out on us. And therefore, that's how the generational shit goes on. My dad was an alcoholic. My dad was a druggie. I'm a druggie. That's how that shit goes on. No one stops it. I stopped it. So that's what that caused me to do.
That you forgave him in your own mind.
In my own
afterwards.
mind. He died a few years back. I didn't go to the funeral, but I don't hate him. I had to let it go. It was over. That part of my life is over. I don't hate you. You're my father. I respect you for that. But I also know why you were the way you were. You have to understand the demon before you can